After you beat Bastion, the boss of the Ancient Depths biome in Saros, you unlock the Carcosan Modifiers back at the passage when you speak to Primary. Let's break down exactly how this difficulty modifier mechanic works, and a few tips to help you get the most out of it. The Carcosan Modifier requires you to be balanced, meaning the needle has to stay in the middle zone, or overloaded, which means the needle is further to the right, in order to lock your changes in. Adding protections, or modifiers that make your runs easier, will move the needle to the left, and trials, or negative modifiers that make your runs harder, will do the same for the right. The important thing to note here is that you do not have to have the needle at 0 to lock in your modifiers. It only has to be at -3 or higher. There are no benefits, such as higher experience gain, to being overloaded, save for some specific playstyles we'll go over later. For the most part, it's only if you want to make your run harder for the sake of the challenge. You can have a max of 6 modifiers for each side, but many of the modifiers do have higher levels you can set by pressing square for an increased cost. Some also directly contradict each other, and lock their counterpart out if you choose the same on the other side. For instance, you can't decrease and increase incoming damage at the same time. There are also protections and trials that won't unlock until you progress further in the story, so if we mention one you currently don't have, you'll have to keep going for a bit until it's revealed. Let's go over some of the actual modifiers to help explain possible playstyles or interactions. First off, we recommend Lucenite Magnetism for -1, as that will save you from losing out on resources you'd normally have to wade into danger to collect. Overlord Restoration is also an absolute steal at -1, as that will fully restore your health upon reaching an area boss. If you want to drop one of those, Shield Power Enhancement, which means your shield won't drain while holding it, at a cost of -2, when paired with one of the other 2 modifiers we just mentioned, will cap you out at that -3. And you can go on a slightly easier run than you would have previously without having to lock in any trials. Now for trials, the modifiers that make things more difficult on the right side, we can tweak things to our benefit just a bit. You need to keep the point of your run in mind. Are you trying to grind out more Lucenite, or are you determined to beat a new boss on your next attempt? If you're not too concerned with gaining new skills and just want to progress, go for Lucenite Devaluation at +3. It only activates when you return to passage upon death, meaning you'll still gain Lucenite to increase your proficiency during your run, and you get to keep it all if you teleport back to the passage without dying. There's also Halcyon Removal. If Halcyon's not a resource you plan on focusing on during your next run, giving yourself a +6 modifier means you can swing some major protections to your side as well, although it completely removes Halcyon from the field. You won't get any that run, period. The other one you should consider, depending on your build, is Corruption Enhancement with increasing intensities at scores of +2, 4, and 7. This will reduce more max health every time you absorb a yellow projectile with your shield. The trade-off is that if you like playing with corrupted weapons, which do more damage while you carry more corruption, this modifier can actually be a positive by turning you into a hard-hitting glass cannon that's easily shattered, if that's a playstyle you enjoy. Just don't plan on getting hit. If you're not looking for exploits or ways to make Saros easier, what can you do to provide sufficient challenge without descending into the actual bullet hell? Well, we have a few recommendations. The simplest is just to deactivate Second Chance with Growth Incapacitator, adding intensity to every situation. We then recommend Artifact Destruction, which will destroy a random artifact every time you reach a new biome. This is a fun way to have to retool your build on the fly, although it may actually help if it destroys an artifact that's just taking up space. You can also go with Damage Degradation and Armor Impairment, which reduce the damage you inflict and increase the damage you take, respectively, but there's not a noticeable difference with only the first levels. You'll need to bump them up to levels 2 or 3 to really notice a difference. And that's our quick breakdown for the Carcosan Modifier and Saros. Do you have a favorite playstyle you've been tinkering with? Be sure to let us know in the comments. And for everything else gaming, you're already in the right place. IGN.